Here's the show so you can know and follow right along and watch Jill get strong. Let the entire nation witness Jill's recuperation. So let's go with the Recuperation Show.
Welcome, all of our YouTube viewers. Oh, by the way, please subscribe to our channel. This is the Recuperation Show, and we're talking about curing, in my case, a fracture, a very serious fracture I experienced. Today, we want to talk about something that I've been meditating about, because in a certain sense, I feel I was pushed. I was really scared when this happened. And because of the influences surrounding me, I made a decision. We made a decision. You helped me. And I have doubts. Although I'm not sorry for having let myself be operated on. Now that I'm calmer and I have less pain and I'm progressing, there's evolution going on with this curing. This is what I'm thinking about. When I experienced this fracture, I was in terrible pain. We rushed to the hospital, and I was told that this was extremely serious, to the point where maybe I wouldn't walk normally again in my life. Maybe I would have pain for the rest of my life. No guarantees as to the outcome of this fracture, and the only thing possible to try to help it would be operate on it.
Don't forget, some person that you know who's really educated in these things said they may amputate your leg.
Right. They said if I don't go right away to get operated on, my foot could be amputated.
So there was a lot of pressure.
I had pressure towards getting operated on. But the thing that
so
happened was, you did too. Yes. He's my father, by the way, in case you don't know. The thing was, we went home and we didn't go to the hospital because we were exhausted. We hadn't slept. The first night I didn't sleep at all from being in so much pain, even though they put a cast on. Second day, less pain. Third day, no pain. Couldn't believe it. So I got this like calming feeling, and I started thinking, I said, hey, what if I don't need to be operated on? Look, I have no pain. What is this? I didn't even take a pill, and I was feeling pretty good. And so I said, I want to find out. I got to investigate to see if I can do this naturally with God's help. And I know about a term my father invented. He's a clinical psychologist. And in his book, We're Having Sex Right Now, you can buy that book on Amazon and also on iTunes. He talks about the mystic automatic sexual energy knowing, which is this force that only wants us to be okay. It looks for us to be, it defends us, it heals us, it's a good force that every human being has inside them. You're going to give a total explanation on this, I know.
How did I invent the mystic automatic sexual energy knowing, which has been made fun of by certain patients that thought that that there were too many words involved in it, and it sounded coursey,
I love
as
it.
we say. It sounded.
I love that term.
Sounded funny.
When you know what it means, you love it.
Yeah.
Because it loves me. So how can I avoid it?
And that is you.
So I started like saying, "Wow, the mystic automatic sexual energy knowing is here. We'll be able to just have this cast on and my body will heal it." So I wanted to be sure. So I called a naturalist doctor who's a friend of ours for many years, and he came over and he gave me a very bad impression that he didn't know enough. Yeah. He was totally insecure, and he said, I don't know. And
he looked at it.
Yeah, and he said, he looked at the x-rays and everything, and he said, ooh, I better ask some of my friends because I'm not an expert in orthopedics. Then he called me and he said, I spoke to a couple of my friends, and he said, and I looked on internet. I looked on internet too. And he said, no, he said, my friends say you should be operated on. Yeah. So
I wonder how many operations, how many interventions, how many acts and reasonings occur in this life of ours to be safe, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Just to be safe, you might as well get operated on.
Yeah, but
That's the way they cover their bases.
And then what did they tell me? They said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to put screws in, we're going to put these metal in your heel, we're going to do all these things and cut your foot open and like that. And the idea is that we hope, but we don't guarantee. We hope you'll have it, a fighting chance to walk again. That's what I was told. So I said, oh God, now what am I going to do? I didn't have anyone, and you don't know about orthopedics either, but we both of us were here talking it over, and we said, it looks like we better get operated on. We even called a relative of ours who had experience with people and everything, and he said, some of my friends refused to be operated on, and they took double the time to get better, Yeah. So that also influenced me to say, oh, well, I don't want to take double the time.
When did people get the idea that when people are weak and hurting and wounded and have problems, that the best thing to do is treat them such that they have enormous fear?
Well, that's what I had. Now it's 3 months later. I'm realizing I'm not only recovering, and the reason I'm sitting this way is because I feel much better when the foot is like up. I don't like it to be down. It still is very swollen, and at 3 months after, I still have pain. I can't step on it good.
And you have the screws in there, and you have the metal in there.
I have everything in there, but they say it's going to take 6 months. I'm getting better. There's no question about that. But the thing that I think about is that I'm getting better from two things. A traumatic operation. It was extremely traumatic. I had never been operated on in my life. And they made me sign a paper before I went into the operating room that said, you may die, you may never walk again, you may not have feeling in your foot ever again, you're all these, there was like a list of 20 things, horrible things. I could get in terrible infections. I was scared. And I said to the doctor, why do I have to sign this? And he said, well, it probably won't happen to you, but we have to inform you, and you have to know that this is a possibility.
The way we're raised nowadays, even parents and authorities tell us that if you don't do what I say, and if you don't use the going thing, this is what's going to happen to you. Yeah. Or if you're not a good boy and not a good girl, God will swack you in the face.
They say to you, don't think for yourself, don't have ideas, you do what I say. Oh no.
There's a little scar in there.
Yeah.
Worrying about what God is going to do or what gifts Santa Claus is not going to bring if we don't toe the line and if we don't obey. And now somebody out there is saying, well, shouldn't we discipline at all? Well, yeah, we should discipline, but
of course.
You have to read my book to find out what real discipline is.
Right, and one thing is, all my life, as the years went on, I said, gee, my body is wonderful. I do cure myself, and I haven't been to a doctor before this. Like I had 30, 35 years, I didn't even have a cold. I became so confident and that I could be my own doctor and take care of myself, and I did. And I have a great health, and I'm really proud of my diet and the way I take care of myself, except for this was really stupid, how I fell off a wall. But,
even here in Costa Rica, people refer to you as the doctor of the kitchen.
Before I was operated on, not one doctor asked me, what kind of a life do you have? What is your, they said, have you had any sicknesses before? Okay. It was like a 3-second interview, and then you're going to the operating room, which I gave into. I agreed, and here I am 3 months later, but I don't have a good feeling on the bottom of my foot, and one doctor said, well, that's for life. We cut the nerves, and you have to face it, that the nerves have been damaged, and there's scar tissue on there, and that's why you have the constant tingling.
Which brings
and all
to
kinds
mind, what if we didn't operate?
That's what I mean. That's what I'm thinking of now, because if I had had more faith in myself and in that good feeling I had after 3 days, some medical support. Because I know that they're also the doctors, they want a quick decision. I've spoken to friends, and they said, I went to a private clinic, and they pushed me. The guy didn't even have a fracture. He sprained his knee or something. They said, no, they pushed him to be operated on, And he said, and it was very expensive, $8,000 or something like that, and for Costa Rica, that's a tremendous amount of money. And so he said, no. He said, wait a minute. And he spoke to a physiotherapist, and the guy said, I can cure you. And the guy charged as well, but much less than and the guy's fine. Like, that's just an example that doctors, no matter what, it's not the public health system or the private, they're all the same. They just try to push you towards, fast.
Quick results.
Quick result. And some say, well, the doctors want your money and that in the private. But in the public system, you have to be insured. You pay every month and that kind of thing. But they also, it's the same. They want you to go to the operating room, and not one person said to me, hey.
Well, let me tell you about the mystic automatic sexual energy knowing.
Go ahead.
I was writing my book, We're Having Sex Right Now, and it occurred to me mystically that, and it came to my mind, what is it that's keeping me alive now? I'm alive, and there's something in me that wants me to be alive, that is keeping me alive. It's an energy in me that insists that I be alive. And it occurred to me that if I don't interfere with it, well, a lot of good things are going to happen, like not getting sick, and like having good energy to move around and to fulfill my desires.
Right.
So it occurred to me that mystic automatic sexual energy knowing, the first thing that came to me is the mystic part. Mystic meant to me that we don't know about the origin of our lives, and as hard as religions and governments and universities and everybody struggles to explain how we came into being, we don't know. We really don't know. A lot of people just say the Bible says it, but we don't know. We really don't know. So it's mystic. Why not leave it at that? Why not say there's certain things that we don't know?
That's right.
Yeah, mystic, and it's automatic. It occurred to me that growing, it's interesting, we recently got a puppy, and that puppy 6 or 7 months ago was a little baby puppy, German Shepherd,
Yeah.
Now, in 7 months, that dog is huge.
Yes.
Yeah, and intelligent, and can do many, many things. So automatic is that growth, and you see your own child. You get up in the morning, and your child is different. It has grown. It has developed some new characteristics. And what energy is in charge of that? Well, it occurred to me too, and I remembered it, thank goodness for my studies, that the brain doesn't exist in the womb until maybe 6 or 7 weeks after the egg is fertilized. So that unfertilized egg has intelligence. It's mystic, and that intelligence automatically takes the egg from the fallopian tubes and helps it get into the womb and helps it lodge itself into the walls of the uterus, and it begins to take nourishment, all without a brain.
That's right.
So it does all this with no brain. So mystic automatic, it's automatic. And it's sexual energy. Sexual energy. Sexual energy. Why on earth did I spend so many years in my infancy being afraid to say the word sex, or being afraid to look at the body of a woman, because that would be punishable, I thought, anyway. I'm 86. That's a long time ago. And but I spent years learning to be sexually inhibited, learning the difference between a nice person and a person who is sexually permissive, sexually promiscuous, as it were. So indeed, the sexual energy part, which should be honored, which should be our essence expressed. No, it wasn't. We were told to take it and put it aside and be a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mystic automatic sexual energy.
Yeah,
is-
and
yeah.
we come from the union of the egg and the sperm and a sex act.
Yeah.
Our parents have sex.
Yeah, but and peculiarly enough, you're laughing
Yeah.
with certain discomfort.
Yeah, because people don't think about that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So the last word in mystic automatic sexual energy knowing is knowing. We think knowing is when you pass the test. Then you know what the questions were and you're able to fill in the answer. But there's a mystic knowing as well, a spiritual knowing all around us that we have shunted aside. We have not appreciated it. It's a mystic, automatic, sexual energy knowing. How good that feels to just say that.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
To know,
That's what I felt that
to
day.
know there's healing is in you.
Yeah.
You're a healer.
Yeah.
And in this particular instance, with your leg, your heel bone fractured, you're healing yourself.
That's right.
And God forbid that I do anything to interfere with that. Oh, the only thing I can do is support it.
Right.
Support that mystic, automatic, sexual energy knowing, and hope that you don't interfere
That's right.
with it, because you did interfere with your good bone.
I broke it in the
and
first place.
You
Yeah.
broke it.
Yeah. But that's so interesting what you're saying about the interfere, because there's many examples in life where you see a person's really going fine, or a little child, is doing great. And then peer pressure comes in.
Yeah.
And they get all messed up.
Sure.
They succumb to pressures, social pressure, like I did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I shouldn't have been operated on because it's already done, and that's the decision I made. I did make it consciously, and we even talked it over and whatever.
There's a certain amount of goodwill.
Yeah. And the doctors were, I think they wanted the best for me. They tried to do their best, or, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's valid to sit down and think it through and think it over.
It occurs to me that there's many people who have accidents, entre comillas, in quotes, accidents, and without the doctors, they would die automatically.
No, definitely. No, but my case is particular, and I respect the fact that I have the doubt, that because I think of another,
What would have happened if you didn't get operated on?
I'm curious. I'm curious to know, because I do have a lot of faith in that my body would have found a way. And I gave one of the doctors the example of a dog we had who was run over by a car. And it was at a time in Costa Rica there were no veterinarians. They were out in the country with cows or something, but they didn't take care of dogs and things like that at a time. And so the dog healed himself. We didn't do anything for that dog except give him lots of love and hugs, and he cried all night long the first days, and I thought he was going to die. I really thought he wasn't going to make it. And we had him covered up, and we gave him chicken soup, and we, all the care we could. That dog walked and ran again. He had the whole back of his body crushed.
Yep.
And that dog, he had an interesting run. It was sort of like with a jump, but he was perfectly, I'd say he healed himself totally.
And he used that run capacity to seek out female dogs.
Yes, he did. he didn't lose.
Escaped from the house.
And that was like an example. I told that to the doctor, and he said, I admit, if we would not have operated on you, you would have healed. But he said, we don't know if you would have had a limp like your dog. You may have had, but maybe so.
But you have,
But I don't know.
you have, just because of knowledge, you have at least access to certain comforts that as you sit here now, the mystic automatic sexual energy knowing is doing its job.
Yeah.
It's expressing its will, and it is affecting you every single day.
That's right.
When I come in every day, you have a story to tell me about how you feel today.
That's right.
And you feel different every day.
Every day.
And little sensations here and there, and the kind of pain and the kind of sensations and what you can do. I call it
I test it out. I test it out. I can't walk normally, but I'm supposed to be now testing my foot and trying to put weight on it.
Curing energy. And then we talked about the Christian Scientists that don't operate.
They don't.
They pray. They pray you into health.
Yes.
And that's really a nice sensation to imagine you being prayed over, and with a lot of wishing that you get better, a lot of desire, and calling upon the forces of good, calling upon God to come and save you and put you together again. And that's available. And in a certain sense, here in Costa Rica, that was going on, because we're known, because have been on television for many years in Costa Rica. But wherever we went, somebody did something, a gesture, the most amazing one of all was when we pulled up to a supermarket and a guy had just eased his way into his parking space, and he saw you.
Well, that was just now.
And your foot was up.
Oh, yeah.
And he had known about, through this exposition, he had known about, he just immediately pulled his car out of the parking space and gestured that we should go in.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like much, but when I saw that, I said, well, something's good is going on here.
And from literally, I would say thousands of people.
Yeah.
They supported me and said they were praying for me and everything.
Yeah. So that was going on informally.
Yes.
With the Christian Scientists, it's formal. That's the way they are.
There's that Costa Rican loving that we still have here.
But it's interesting that the whole concept of Christian Science came up, so we could feel the effect of a whole group of people passionately interested in your betterment.
Yes.
That sounds pretty good.
That really has helped tremendously in my recuperation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
No, definitely. No, but they've made movies about where kids receive thousands of letters, and the kid gets better. Yeah. that love power, it works.
You know what it is? It's the mystic automatic sexual energy knowing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
That we all have.
Yes.
We all have it.
Yeah.
And we all have it healthfully, or we have it distorted. We have it perverted.
The worst thing that happens is when it's smashed to smithereens.
And that happens.
It happens.
It happens all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. I think we've got the message across.
I think so, too.
What do you say?
I say yes, and I say this is going to continue because the Recuperation Show is going to keep going on, and we hope, I think this is going to help other people. Just
from the very beginning, I planned the fiesta, which is maybe held up for a while with COVID-19, but the fiesta for when you're totally recuperated, and the key people that actually provided services for you, and to see a woman come into this house and work all day to do the laundry and just for the fun of it.
Yep. A friend of mine, she just said, "I'm coming to help you. I don't care what's going on with COVID or whatever."
One of the gestures.
And she
and
did.
You needed a wheelchair, and the wheelchair appeared.
And my neighbor
it
lent me a wheelchair.
of when we first came to Costa Rica. Before I knew what I needed, it came.
Yeah, a lot of things like that happen.
Mystic.
A lot of support.
And so when you have a society it's interesting, just as a final note. In Costa Rica now, we are having an explosion of cases of COVID-19. And there's a town. There's no cases of COVID-19.
Right.
How curious that they have families, they have everybody obeys to the letter the
Measures,
the measures,
protocols,
the protocol
and
of health,
to protect.
the distance,
Yes.
the masks, the washing the hands,
Everything.
Everybody there obeys it, and lo and behold,
No cases.
no cases. Well, what in the hell is going on here? Because we don't have families. We don't have what it takes to make a healthy environment such that prayers can cure, not scalpels.
That's
So-
the theme of our next session in the Recuperation Show.
Well, let's
in a sense.
let's find out.
Let's find out. We'll see you the next time, and please subscribe to our channel.